What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Real Red Roundup, where authentic, oh, I was going to get that right then as well. Authentic opinions matter. We've got a couple of items on the agenda tonight, and we shall tick them off as we go along. Just a quick start here for you, for viewers, and for yourself, Sam, before we talk kind of Hoyland and top four and ambitions and all that kind of stuff. 45% of Manchester United's league goals have been scored in their last 6 games. How fucking crazy is that?
It's quite sad, that, isn't it, really?
45%, so almost half of our goals just in the last 6. That's how fucking deprived we have been all season. Like, we're talking 1-0. The Luton games is just like...
Or just getting beat and not scored.
Yeah. Either way, we have really been deprived up until now. And that's kind of segues perfectly into the first kind of person I want to talk about in Rasmus Højlund, Sam. I think it's time to give him his flowers because he had a tough start, to his Manchester United career. After only 10 games, people starting to call him a flop. People starting to say he's fucking a fake Haaland, a beta cat, and all these kind of stuff that we knew was going to happen, right? It's a young striker coming into United, huge price tag. We get it. But in his last 5 games, scored against Villa, scored against West Ham, got a goal and assist against Wolves, a goal and assist against Spurs, and scored against Villa as well. So he is in fine form at the moment. He's the first striker to score 5 consecutively in a row under 21. I think Anelka was the only other one.
19.
As well to do it. 19 was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a record he's sharing with Ronaldo at the moment, which I can't really remember which one it was for United. Personally, he's got 11 goals and 2 assists so far in all comps, and was obviously the top scorer in the Champions League before Onana single-handedly fucking took us out of that competition. Yeah. What has changed in his game? Is it just as simple as a goal, do you think?
I just think some strikers, I think you're right on the confidence thing. Like, obviously strikers want to score goals, and when they start scoring, they become more confident and they then roll from there. Like, I remember Rooney having patches, where he was a bit but then he'd get a couple of goals and then that'd be it. He'd be off the races and he'd score like 20 in a season or what have you. So I think that's part of it. He's young, so he's raw. Like, you've seen with a lot of our young players, there's been not faults, but like areas of the game that they need to improve. Like in Garnacho, for example, his decision making is sometimes piss poor. So hopefully that's something he can work on because he's clearly got the talent. And then, the other thing is service. The service wasn't there for him. Like, he was getting in the right positions, he was running into the right spaces, but they just weren't giving him the service. And they're still not really giving him the service because in that Villa game he had 2 shots. Like, that says it all. Like, he's had 2 shots, but he scored one of them, which just shows he doesn't need that many shots to get a goal. Like, if you give him the ball, he will score because he had 2 shots and he got a goal. And then, like you said, he's had assists and stuff like that. So I think it's a combination of different things. I think when I looked at this kid, he was talented. Like, he's got everything that you want. It's just we've played with a forward line that are some of the most selfish forwards on the planet, and it just doesn't help him. I think if he goes into Villa or he goes to Spurs instead of Richarlison, he's already on 15, 16, 17 goals. He's already
especially the way Spurs play as well.
Yeah,
high chance creation, high turnovers, electric football, and he has been deprived of that. I think that's what I mean. From people watching it from the outside, I don't half blame him because they don't watch United week in week out like we do, and like the people in the chat do. Like, they don't get it. We've seen like his potential. We've seen he's got it. We've seen patterns of play in the game where we're like, you can just see it. You just know whether he's a good striker or whether he's got the abilities or if he's. You know it. He's obviously raw. He's still got loads to learn, but I think it looks fucking super promising from what I've seen so far. And like I always keep mentioning it, I know I sound like a fucking parrot, but that 65 million quid, honestly, you look back and think, thank God, because in the market 2 years' time, you'd be spending 110 million pound on players that.
You got to think as well, like, he should not be the number 1 striker playing game in, game out. Like, he shouldn't be. Like, he's not. What is he, 20?
Yeah, I think so. 2021. Just turned 21.
Yeah. So what you would do in those situations, normally you bring a striker in of that age and then you have an experienced striker next to him and they learn off and then they come in and then they sort of rotate in and out and eventually they're groomed for that position and become your main striker. That's what's supposed to happen. That's what's happening with City, even though like Julian Alvarez is arguably on the very similar level to
we're getting our team.
So do you know what I mean? So they do that. You've got young players coming through at Liverpool who were like, so Robertson was out. They had that what's the guy, Bradley, come in. He's done extremely well. So this is how you're supposed to do it. And we've just put all this on Rasmus Højlund, and because he cost 65, 70 million, everyone's like, well, he has to perform there. It's like, he's 20 years old. He's had I think 2, maybe 3 professional seasons total, and he's coming to a brand new league in the most scrutinised team, in the most scrutinised, one of the most scrutinised positions at Manchester United, and he's got no other backup because Anthony Martial might as well not be there because he can't stay fit.
I actually forgot.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. He's the only striker we have. The only striker we have. And then people go, he's not performing. It's just like, look at the environment he's in. And the fact that he's on, what is he on, 11 goals,
2 assists in all comps.
11 goals, 2 assists all comps. Like, I think we said at the beginning of the season, if he gets over 10, he's done all right. And he's already passed that, and we're in February. So, like, he deserves all the plaudits, man. Deserves them all.
If he carries on the way he's going, I think he'll double it, won't he? He'll at least have 5 assists, 20 goals in his first season in all comps. Yeah. Happy days for, considering the circumstance. Right, let's see what people are saying. Charlie Malman saying Ratcliffe won't be approved until another 2 weeks. We're going to touch on that, so make sure you stick around. Brian is in the chat saying, evening lad, first time in a long time catching a live stream. Been so busy at work that I had to watch them on catch up. Good to see you both. Hope
shout out, Brian.
Nice to see you live. Yeah.
Shout out, Brian.
Yeah, shout out to Brian. Charlie saying, were we close to getting all the worst records before Christmas? We were en route to take them all. Now it looks a little bit more promising. Rajat is saying, yup, they can. I think it's in regards to Europe. Villa don't have big depth like Man United do. I disagree. I think Villa, you look at the bench that they had yesterday. They had Pau Torres on there. They had that Italian guy who signed Zaniolo, is it? Something like that from Roma. Yeah, they had Diaby on the bench as well. Like, they've got good players on the bench who they can call to. And they've got a decent team as well. Isn't it mad how last season we played like a team who desperately needed a striker? Then we get one and we change how we play and becomes redundant. Yeah, madness, isn't it? It is strange. What qualities, though, do you specifically like about Rasmus, Sam? Like, why is he a likeable guy? What do you see in his game where you're like, yeah, he's going to succeed here?
Chivy's going to kill me for this because I'm going to compare him to Martial. But he's everything Martial isn't he? Like, he works hard. His body language is someone of, I'm doing everything I can to make this team win. He's smiling, you see emotion on his face. And again, that's not necessarily Martial's fault. That's just the way his face is. I've got a similar face. I've got a scowly face. But like, people take things from very outside perspectives. So if they see a guy working super hard and he's smiling and he's got emotion, and there's more likely to connect to him than Martial, who's like, just, there's not much going on here, even though clearly he's as talented. And that's he's quick. Martial's lost all his pace since that injury. Like, he can't run anymore. Like, so he looks like he's lazier than he actually is because he's not physically able to get
that's what Sir John is abducted, right, or something like that, I think.
It's like that burst of acceleration's gone from him that he had. Like, it's just gone completely. So that's another thing. And then just his availability. Like, he had that bit of an issue, didn't he, at the beginning with his back and stuff like that. But since then, they seem to be all right. He seems to be available. So there's a couple. And then, I just think he's very different to Martial. Martial's good at hold-up play, links play together, and then he has those little bursts, whereas Højlund is all about attacking that box. He wants to get in the box, he wants a ball in, or he wants a ball through ball, and he's going to finish. So it's a very different style of play. I think if we can get a striker that's complementary to him and is a little bit different, but at the same time can work with him as a possibility, I think we've got something special there. Like, you can sort of work with something. At the minute, it's all him and he's very, very raw. But he's got all the ingredients to succeed. And I just hope that we sort of nurture it in the right way and we don't run him into the fucking ground like we do with every other youth player.
Yeah, we've got a lot of members in the chat. It's nice to see everyone. Let us know what you think about the De Jong video that we dropped the other day. I can't remember what day it was. I don't know what day I'm on today, to be honest with you. But make sure you do check that out if you haven't seen it already. I'm guessing Brian probably hasn't because he's been busy, like he says. Yeah. Tim99 says, I'm starting to get excited about Højlund. And so you should. So you should, Tim, because, like I said, he got a lot of stick in the first 10 to 13 games. But we all saw what was developing and what we got from it. Even the goal against Galatasaray, that one where it burst from the halfway line, a little dink over the keeper, that was a little bit of excellence that you saw. You're like, okay, that's enough to give me something where I know we can kind of work with him there. And I mentioned in the clip that we put up today, it's the range of goals as well. He scores all different, like that boomer with his right foot.
Yeah.
The other day, they look like a chip, headers, absolutely everything, and that's a sign of a striker who's going to get a lot of goals.
Do you know what as well? Like you mentioned the sort of the criticism you got, and it's Man United, so you just expect we're going to get criticised more than like TalkSport need their content, obviously, don't they? They need to fill 20 hours worth of airtime.
You see a Bungalow crying yesterday.
He can get to fucking.
Please tell me, you see the video?
Yeah, I've seen it. Like, he's such a dickhead, But, one of the guys said, I played against Vidic, you weren't even that bad. It's like, mate, you were never on the winning side against him, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
7 touches in one game.
Yeah, exactly.
So
he gets like that, but then you look at, say, Darwin Núñez, who's quite a comparison, who has hit the woodwork, I think, more time than any other player in the Premier League, I believe. I think he's hit it so his finishing is not 100%, but everybody's like, oh, wouldn't you love him in your team? Don't he try hard? And you notice the narrative between the two. This guy's not scored in either, and he's hitting the woodwork consistently, and his finishing is not great, but he's getting praise for the effort and the miles and all that sort of stuff. But a young 20-year-old is getting absolute pelters because he's not scoring goals. Like, it's such bullshit, man. Like, I'm so sick of the media agenda. Like, it just really does my head in.
I think what you mentioned about striker coming in is fascinating, because I don't know how you do that. I genuinely don't know what they're going to do this summer. I don't know if they're just going to go out for like an Ivan Toney statement signing, which, in my opinion, my gut feeling, I don't think Ineos would do. But then who do you like? Someone like a Taremi who went today, didn't they? Did they go to? Who did he go to? Milan.
Inter. Yeah, Inter.
Inter Milan. So then, like, you're looking at like, who do you bring in? Who would you bring in?
I mean, Ivan Toney's the name there, isn't it? Like, ready-made, Premier League proven. He's come back after 6 months out. Everybody was like, oh, is he going to be the same? And he's scored in. And he's clearly ready for a step up. Like, he's clearly ready for that next step up. So, for me, he's the guy you go get. But how much is he going to cost? I don't think... how long has he got left?
Able to get him?
Yeah. How long has he got left on his contract?
I think a couple of years.
Right, so he's going to cost quite a bit. Brentford are not letting him go for cheap, I don't think. So, and I'm sure Arsenal are looking at him as well because they need a striker. I'm sure Chelsea will probably look at him because they look at everybody. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'd like to think we could get him, but he's probably got his choice of options at the minute. And the way United are at the minute, not title challenging, whereas Arsenal are. It's like you can't really blame him if he wants to win trophies.
I think he goes Arsenal. I think Arsenal win the league if he goes Arsenal. Genuinely.
Yeah.
If Arsenal had in this season,
it's a missing piece. It's a missing piece.
He definitely is. Yeah, 100%. I just think like if we bring him in, then what's going to happen with Højlund? Like a bench option coming on. I don't know if that's right with me because I see he can definitely score 20 goals. I can see it.
What do you do then? Do you bring in an experienced striker who's happy to play second fiddle?
Yeah, maybe, but then who's the right profile for that? Who's in Europe screaming out right now? Where you know, again, I'll leave it a question to the chat. Any kind of strikers you have in mind in Europe right now who's seasoned, won a couple of trophies, like a Giroud, but not that old because I think Giroud's like 37, 38 at this point. Yeah. But you know, that well-seasoned, experienced striker who you can learn from. Who's still got quality, but don't want to play every single game. Do you know what I mean?
Is there anyone in the youth academy that? So Højlund becomes our main striker, and then we have a youth academy prospect on the bench.
Do we have an outstanding striker though at the minute?
Not really.
To do that?
Charlie McNeil's gone Newport, I think.
Yeah.
Is he Newport?
Hugo's gone like Burton Albion, I think.
Yeah. I know Chivy likes Hugo, and then Shea Lacey's probably too early, isn't it? He's probably
too early. Way too early.
So yeah, it's tricky, man. It's really tricky.
Yeah, well, that's up to Ineos and Ten Hag and Co. To kind of decide. I want to talk about top four shortly, because obviously we're still kind of relatively close to the other game that's just been played, so I want to discuss that a little bit, and then top four as well. Just had some news that Luke Shaw's going to be available for Luton, so that's fantastic, because I could not be asked with him being out again. And obviously Lindelof in that game, Sam, when he came on.
Oh, terrible.
Jesus Christ. That
side got
fucking destroyed, didn't it?
Why did Unai Emery take Bailey off? Why did he? I was like, what are you doing? He's absolutely rinsing Lindelof.
I was like, oh, thank
I
God.
know. As a United fan, I was like, thank God for that. But
Yeah,
like,
thank God
as an Aston Villa fan, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, bizarre
It was a weird one,
decision.
wasn't it?
Bizarre
Tillerman's
decision.
coming on. I was like, fucking great.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
I'll have
like,
that.
Even when McTominay came on, all my mates in the pub were like, "What the fuck's he doing?" I was like, "Have you not watched United? This is what
we do.
McTominay comes on, he scores.
Yeah, this is
That's
what
he
we do.
does. Yeah, it's just what happens now. It's just like a super sub, innit? So yeah, crazy to think he'll definitely be in double figures as well. By his season ends, and could mean a lot.
I'm done with slandering Scott McTominay now this season.
Yeah,
no more.
He's earned his fucking stripes.
Yeah, I'm not slagging him off anymore. I'm not doing it.
No, yeah, he's scored some mega important goals, and without his goals, I try to think where we'd be. So, yeah, shout out to Scott. Now, top 4 kind of ambitions. How are we feeling now? Because before the Villa game, we both said on record, if we lose this game, it's done, mate. You can't go 11 points behind Aston Villa and not think it. But even still, it's 5 points, Sam. Like, it's not,
It's doable though, because it's 14 games left. 5 points, and then I think I looked at the stats. It's 75% chance of 5th being good enough for Champions League football next year, depending on how the coefficient rankings.
How does that coefficient thing? Do you even know? I don't know.
It's basically
Scooby Doo, mate.
I've read it, and it still didn't make sense. But from what my cursory understanding was, depending on how far English teams go in the competition, and then based on last year, we'd get it this year based on last year. And at the minute, obviously, Newcastle went out. We went out. Liverpool through. Well, City went through. And Brighton still in it, I believe. Arsenal still in it. Brighton.
In Europe in general.
Yeah, Europe general.
Yeah.
So
Brighton, I think,
West Ham. Have they gone out? Yeah. So
I'm not sure.
The way it's going, there's a 75% chance that 5th would be good enough for the UK for the English Premier League to get things. So that then makes it a little bit easier for us, because then we only have to get 5th. We don't have to pull Tottenham down, who are like above us. But Tottenham lose games, man. Like, they lose games just randomly. I know they look pretty and they're good on the eye and they do beat teams.
Aren't they?
Yeah, they're not consistent. And yes, they've got Son back now, and they got Maddison back, so that should help them. But they are at times still a bit flaky, especially with the way they play. So I think they will drop points. And then Villa are in a bit of a funk right now as well. Like, they've lost 3 on the spin now.
Yeah.
So
it's a bit weird, bit of a patch in a minute.
So, and they play very similar to Tottenham, so they can be beaten as well. Like, you can get at them and beat them. So it's probably the 2 teams you want to be chasing down. Like, if it was Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea and stuff, you'd probably be like, yeah, we're probably out. But those 2 teams.
What?
You know what I mean? Back in the day when Chelsea were...
Oh, right. I was on about, yeah.
Like, Liverpool, it's like Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, City. Like, back in the day, you'd be like, yeah, kind of...
Even now, those, like, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, no one's getting near them.
Yeah, you're not getting
them 3 are just in, like, the wrong kind of chunk, aren't they?
So, for the top 4, it's probably us, Villa, Spurs. That's probably who's fighting it out, isn't it? You could probably maybe throw Newcastle in. Maybe.
But I think if we're throwing us in there with Villa, I mean, Newcastle, I think 5 points behind us, and we're 5 points behind Villa, so that's what I mean. Couple wins here
from Newcastle. So I think it's doable, but we have to be consistent, and we showed yesterday that we can win ugly. Even though we're not playing well and we're still a bit shit, we can still get the job done and get the 3 points, and that's a good sign. But we need to be consistent. I think I worked out we'd have to win the 14 games. We'd have to win 11 to guarantee it. It's tricky.
Yeah, and we've still got to play Arsenal, Liverpool,
and City as well.
So then you have to beat the best of the rest.
You have to beat 2 of them, which is tricky, very tricky.
I'm just looking at Tottenham's next few games. They've got Wolves, Chelsea, Palace, Villa, Fulham. So a couple of tricky.
We've got a good run. We've got a good run. If you look at our run as well, aside from City, we've got a good run.
So Villa's quite favourable as well. Fulham, Forest, Luton, Tottenham, and then West Ham. So that Aston Villa and Tottenham game, I think that's definitely where some points, obviously, either side are going to be dropped there. So then you can capitalise on that. But again, it's about the consistency in it. Like, it wouldn't surprise you at all if fucking United went and lost at Luton away on the weekend.
No. They could score. They could score as well, man. They score goals.
Yeah, they scored 4 against fucking Newcastle. They scored 4 against Brighton. So
like they're in form. So we have got a favourable. I think we've got a similar run. We've got Luton, Fulham, City, then someone else and someone else. So
Sheffield are in there, Everton are in there.
So apart from the City game, that's a quite favourable run.
They're winnable.
Yeah.
They're
So it's on our side, man. Like I think we've got the momentum. Yeah, we've definitely got the momentum with us. So it's doable. But yeah, I'm not 100%. I'm like sort of 60-40 at the minute.
Charlie's saying Villa did smash someone with 5 goals before they lost to Chelsea. Brian said we seem to be getting into a run of consistency, so the momentum is definitely with United, and we have some winnable games coming up with Fulham and Luton. Yup, to MUFC, Villa lost to Newcastle. No, Villa are consistent as well. Villa beat Sheffield United 5-0 away. I know, but the point is at the moment they're flipping in it, Villa. So it's like we're finding consistency. Other teams are starting to lose it a little bit. So let's hope that continues. I was listening to Gary Neville's podcast today after the game, and I thought a couple of points made was interesting because after every single game, especially in the first kind of 4 months of the season, it was talking about the Glazers after it and how this and that and how everything up top needs sorting and da. Do you think actually Ratcliffe coming in now has affected the mood around the place, and that's maybe why there's been an upturn in results? Obviously, players coming back helps as well, but do you think that's had an effect on the camp?
Yeah, because I think we've already seen the impact of them coming in. I know they're not officially ratified yet, and I saw probably one of the stupidest reports I've ever seen from Mike Keegan. It's like, it might be if it won't be ratified this week, but it could be next week or possibly the week after. Basically, you don't.
This year.
Basically, you don't know a fucking thing, and you're just putting shit out. Like, so I hate that sort of stuff. But yeah, so you've already seen the impact because we've hired Omar Barada. He's ready to go in the summer, so they've stated their intent. We saw a bunch of players go out on loan and sold and stuff like that, youth players to sort of help that FFP come the summer. And I'm sure once they're officially ratified, there's always been talk about stadium plans as well and reports that we're building a new stadium, revamping, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff. You see the planning stuff and the putting stuff in motion. So I think that gives you some sort of hope, doesn't it? If like they're already putting stuff in motion and they're making steps, then you think, okay, something's happening here. They're going to do stuff. So once they get officially ratified, I expect to see significant changes. I think James from the Muppeteers put out that once they're ratified, the director of football is pretty much going to be sorted within that point. So hopefully we see that. I just hope it continues, and I just hope the Glazers either fuck off at some point or just stay out of it completely and just count the money over there and just don't leave the football club alone, because from what I'm hearing and what he's doing, it seems to be the right things. I know there's been debates about the stadium and people can have those debates and what have you, but I think the most important thing is getting the football team back to winning ways. And if we could do that, then the rest of it should follow.
Yeah, I think it's interesting as well because it's completely turned the fortunes around now. Like this year, in terms of like obviously on the pitch and stuff, and kind of upstairs is being all kind of sorted out. So it seems like positivity as a whole is coming back to the club. But since the start of the year, we haven't been beat. So Erik ten Hag's completely turned his fortunes around. And do you think if Erik ten Hag gets top 5, top 4, whatever it is, and as a decent cup run, do you think that's enough to save his job?
Yeah, I think if he gets Champions League qualification, regardless of the cup run, I think if he gets top 4, top 5 and gets in the Champions League, I think that'll be enough. I think the FA Cup will be a bonus, I think that'll just be a nice additional thing.
Is that enough for you as well, personally?
Yeah, I think we've yet to see a good, competent manager underneath a good, competent structure at Manchester United yet. I don't think we've seen that. Well, post-Fergie anyway, because we've had managers like Jose Mourinho who guarantees you fucking titles. I know he doesn't last long and he explodes after 3 years, but he guarantees you titles. He's absolutely out of his fucking tree, but he guarantees you titles. And he couldn't do it at United, and he comes out later and it just basically puts the Glazers on blast and is just like, this is a shit show. Ralph Rangnick, a guy who's been successful everywhere he goes and has built clubs from the ground up with recruitment and stuff like that, said we need open heart surgery and 10 players need to go and 10 players need to come in. So, do you know what I mean? Like, that's
one of my favourite interviews ever, that, you know.
I bring it back for that. I fucking loved his press conferences. I loved it.
So good.
It's the best. It's one of our best performing shorts on the channel. We still get comments to this day on that video because it's so good.
So fucking good.
So I think we need to sort of like look into that, because if he gets another season, which I think he should, under a structure where they take the responsibility of everything off him, because last season it felt like he was doing everything. It's like they basically went, "Who do you want?" and he was just like, "Well, I want this player, this player, this player," and they just went, "Okay," and went away. And it's just like we didn't even go scout players. We didn't ask him, "All right, what's your style of play? How do you want to play? Where we'll go find players, we'll bring them to you, and then we can have discussions," because that's how every other club works. That's how Liverpool work. That's how Arsenal work. That's how City work. That's how Bayer Leverkusen and Bayern Munich work. They all have these structures, and we're the only team that don't, and we wonder why we don't succeed. So I think he deserves time under that structure, because I think him with his little black book picking players hasn't worked that well. We've had a couple of successes with Lisandro Martinez. Malacia is presumed missing. I don't know where the fuck he is. I don't know what he's doing. No idea. Does. I have no idea. Why is no journalist asking questions, by the way, about this? What the fuck? Because
they know the answer of Ten Hag. They'll get, he's out, injured. Clear.
Like,
that's it. That's
where? Where is he? Like,
because he was supposed to come. Do you remember that thing? It was like a little story, wasn't it, in November, I think, saying like, "Oh, he's ready to come back."
He's on grass, yeah.
On grass, and then it's like, "Oh, he's had a setback now," and it's like, "Fuck me, he's been out nearly, and Mount as well. Where's Mason Mount?" Do you know what I mean? So, these guys just like, fuck skiing or something.
Malacia is not integrated because he's not been here. Mount is not integrated because he's not here. And then Anthony, just get rid of him. I'm fucking done with him. I'm completely done with him. Casemiro wasn't his choice. He wanted Frankie de Jong, and we wasted time, and we got him as a last-minute choice. And then Rasmus Højlund seems to be working. So it's like 2 out of what? Not many. So I think you take that responsibility away from him and just go, what type of player do you need? Like, do you need an inverted winger with a left foot? Like, what type of player? And then we go and find him, and then we bring him options. Of like, all right, this guy's ready now. This guy will be ready in like 3 or 4 years. And then this guy is like a youth prospect that we think bring in, and we send him out on loan and we develop. And you do it that way, like every other team. And then if he doesn't succeed under that, then you can feel good. It's like, all right, we tried it and we gave him the options, didn't succeed, and then you can move on. But then you've already got structure in place, haven't you? Ready to go. So when the next manager comes in, he doesn't have to go, fuck me, like, what is going on in here? Do I have to sort all of this? And just like absolutely already behind the 8 ball before you even start. So I think we need to get that in place. I know Chivy would disagree with me, but that's my opinion. Has Nick gone? I think he's disappeared. Are you back?
Can you hear me?
Oh, you're back now.
Is this your connection or my connection?
No, it was you. You just froze completely as I was ranting.
Right. I'm not sure what's going on here.
You're back now, though.
Yeah, I'm back. So that's all that matters. If I lag again, just let me know. We're getting on to the last bit anyway, but I take your points. You made some fantastic points. And I think I keep saying this, but this summer coming up is fascinating. Like, I really, really want to see how they go about it and what changes they make.
What do you think? Where you at with Ten Hag? Because Chivy asked me this question on the review yesterday. So, where you at?
Do you know what? He had a point because he kept repeating in every press conference. He was like, waiting till the players are back. When the important players are back, you'll see what we can do. And he ain't wrong, because since the start of the season, he's not lost. The past 3 games, don't forget we played Villa, Wolves, and who's the other one?
West Ham.
West Ham. You know, all teams in top 10, and we beat them. Do you know what I mean? 2 of them being away from home.
I think he's gone again.
I'm lagging again.
Yeah.
Again,
there you go.
Oh my God, what's going on? I don't know. Villa are difficult to beat. You know, like you take my point. So I think he deserves an opportunity for sure, especially if he gets Champions League. If he doesn't, then there's a decision to make in the summer.
What if he doesn't get Champions League but he wins the FA Cup?
That stinks of Van Gaal, doesn't it? A Dutch manager winning the FA Cup and then not getting top 5.
Just saying.
Ask me after the FA Cup.
Okay.
I can't answer that now. I really can't answer that now. I don't want to answer it multiple points.
Brian's put Al Badzi into in Manchester. Mate, I don't know what it is in our house, in Nick's house. There's just a dead spot in that room. I don't know why. It's weird.
I have a wired LAN in the back of this fucking PC. A very expensive PC and a wired LAN. So how it's lagging is fucking beyond me. I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. Anyway, last story we're going to touch on, it was stuff about Frimpong today, Fabrizio Romano. United scouts really appreciate the player. him to move. Am I lagging again?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. Concrete chance for him to move to the Premier League in the summer. He'd love to try it. That's from Romano. Give us your thoughts, Sam, and then we can head off because this connection's pissing me off.
I like the player, man. Like, I watched the Bayer Leverkusen game, Bayern Munich, and the kid's got something, man. He's a really special player. And I don't know what his goal involvement is at this point. I assume it was because it was like 12 when we last spoke about him, when it's, I assume it's gone up since then. The way Xabi Alonso's gotten him playing, him and Grimaldo, those like wing backs in the attacking system, is really, really good. And I enjoy that. And I think he would complement someone like Dalot quite well, who's a similar player in aspects. But he plays on the right, does he? Can he play on the left, Frimpong?
Not as far as I'm aware. No, he's more. Yeah, he's a wing back, so he's like the Dumfries kind of shape. It's like, how does he fit in the back four as well? Like, would he be comfortable there? Or
it's a tricky question, but I worry about our left hand side at the minute with Luke Shaw. All this stuff just put on him, and he can't stay fit. Malacia, like we said, is missing. We've loaned out Alvaro Fernandez, and then we got rid of Reguilon. Like, I worry about that left hand side now. Like, it's really worrying. We do need the right hand side sorting as well, because obviously he prefers Dalot. And Wan-Bissaka, even though he's done nothing wrong, Ten Hag clearly doesn't fancy him as much as Dalot. So the right hand side, I say that, and then I look at other positions and go, "That's a problem. That position's a that position's a problem, especially in depth." So yeah, it's tricky, man. I like the player a lot, but like you said, tactically, can he play in a back four with a full back? Can he do the defensive, like get back and stuff? It'd be interesting to see. But I like the player a lot, man. Very, very good player.
I think since the turn of the year as well, Dalot's been really, really good.
Yes.
Like, he's been fantastic the past couple of games, especially. So I'm like, if he continues to develop like this, I won't be that asked about the right back situation, because he's doing what I want from a right back, so it's not even a priority. Yeah. If you can keep him all fit, but we never ever can. No. And then he gets shifted over to the left back because we haven't got cover there, and then it's like it's just chopping and changing all the time. It's ridiculous. Have we got
a young right back in the academy? Have we got anybody?
Well, not a right back, but there's a young one at the moment, Harry
Amas.
Sorry, Amas. Yeah, that's the one who's supposed to be killing it at the moment.
He's 16,
I don't watch youth football.
He's 16.
Yeah, but they're talking about it and they're like, could you give him a call up if you're struggling at left back, put him on the bench? Yeah, seen talks about that today. So I don't know. I haven't watched a lot of him. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I know his fucking birthday and everything, but. If you've got promising and you can show the level, fucking Garnacho straight in, Manu straight in. Manu's still only 18 years old, don't forget.
Insane.
So,
Insane.
I know they say about 16 and whatever, but look, if he's good enough, I don't give a shit. Like, try him, you know what I mean? If we don't have any left backs there, because if you move...
Sorry, you lagged out. Do you want to just repeat what you just said?
No, I was just saying, do you want to play Lindelof there again? Because
no. Yeah, I don't see what the harm. Like we've said this before with Ahmad. I don't see what the harm is in putting him on the bench. If they've got a youth prospect and they're playing well and they've got some confidence, stick him on the bench. I don't understand what the issue is. And then with Ahmad, why not just bring him on it for the 15 minutes that you put Anthony on? Like I don't get it. Like, I really don't get it. And especially with like Lindelof at right back. Like, yes, he's an experienced player. Yes, he's played there before, but he was fucking terrible when he was there. I don't understand why you wouldn't like stick a young kid there who plays that position. And as far as I know, the youth team's killing it. Like, I think they're undefeated in the league in the under 18s. Just try it, like, because we've seen young players, step up to the plate and become like first teamers. Rashford did it, like in Midtjylland. He did, like, he stepped up. Like you said, Garnacho stepped up. Manu stepped up. So it's not out of the... Yeah.
At the minute.
This lagging thing's killing me.
Just finish off with your last bit and then we'll fucking go. Cause,
yeah. But yeah, it's interesting. I just think give youth an opportunity, especially if we can't afford to spend and we ain't going to go out and buy a world-class player then. Let's just give youth an opportunity. Do you want me to read some comments out and then we'll...
Please.
We'll get... Brian Casey, if we don't get top 4, I don't think changing manager helps us anyway. We need another squad rebuild for the new style. Charlie, Ragnick was honest to the bone. That's why I liked him. Last year, Mount injury report says unknown injury. Very annoying. Yeah, I have no idea what the injury is, but it's doing my head in as well. Malacia and Mount out until when? I don't know, mate. Wish I knew, mate. How bad is the internet? Oh, I read that one. I'd definitely take him over Dallo and Amram Saka, even though both have improved from last year. I think that's in reference to Frimpong. And then if he's good enough, he's old enough. That's from Brian Casey. Yeah, pretty much, man. If they're good enough, they're old enough. Why not chuck him in?
That was Jimmy Savile's.
It's a good job that lagged out and that joke didn't happen, because that could have got us cancelled. Lagged out at the right possible minute.
Yeah, right. Before my whole thing shuts down, I'll let you all go. Thank you for tuning in. Smash like on the video, subscribe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.